Hello students, welcome to LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Here myself Mr. Jaiswal Kishan from Civil Engineering Department, and we are learning all about earthquake engineering. So let's start our today's session. So in today's session we will be taking IS codes which will be useful for solving the examples. So let's see. Now, first of all, codes. So, specifically, codes are made for the particular purpose. Now, till now, you have used this IS 456, which is used for RC buildings. Now, in future, you may be using this IS 800, which is for steel structures, and you may also use many more like as IRC 112 and etc. for the bridges and all. So here Indian seismic codes is specifically for earthquake. So let's have a look that seismic codes are unique to a particular region or a country. Obviously that the codes are for the particular region or say for the particular country. Now seismic codes are for the particular seismic region. Let's say if Indian Council prepares that seismic codes, then it is for the particular country, India only. So now they take into account the local seismology. Obviously, the previous records and all will help for the preparation of the codes. Like as we know that Bhuj is highly earthquake prone area, so it has to be kept under the major seismic zone. Like as Ahmedabad is not so likely for the earthquake prone, so it can be kept in the medium zone. And there are many cities or say area where there is no earthquake activity occurs. So they may consider it as a low seismic zone. Now, acceptable level of the seismic risk, as I said, building topology, obviously how the building is, and the material and method used in the construction. So these all following factors need to be considered. The further they are indicative of the level of the progress of a country has made in the field of earthquake engineering. Yes, we are came through many revisions of IS 1893. Now, the first common seismic code is named as IS 1893. Seismic code is 1893. Now, which was earlier published in 1962, but we are here till the 2016 revision, which is a sixth revision. So, we will be using this 2016 code for the solving the examples. Now, today the BIS, Bureau of Indian Standard, which are taking the consideration of this IS code, they are the one who print and all. So following are the seismic codes like as 1893 part 1 2016. Part 1 is specifically for seismic zone or say earthquake resistant design of structures, which is the sixth revision. Now 13920. So 13920 is nothing but a ductile detailing. What is ductile detailing? That the members of steel, its spacing and where to put the number of bars and say how it can be formed, all are given in this 13920. We will have a look. This is having a but different module only or on this 13920 code. So we will be learning in detail in the upcoming sessions. And look here, I have made a 2 star, that these are the two major ones which we have to go into detail. Right now we will be following with 1893 and then proceed towards the 13920. And these are the various different codes like as 4326 is for earthquake resisting design and construction of building. Now 13828 is for improving guidelines for the improving earthquake resistance of low strength masonry building. 13827 is for earthquake resistance of the earthen building, and 13935 IS 13935 is for repair and seismic strengthening of the building. So these are various seismic codes, but right now we will be following with 1893 only because it is a major one for our course. So let's have a look. So we are proceeding with Indian Standard Codes of 1893 Part 1 2016. So now on the left hand side of the screen you will be having a look that which term we are taking in the consideration, and on the right hand side I have put a reference page of 1893 and where it will be that will be highlighted or shown with the arrow, and page number is also highlighted or say circled one. So basically we will be understanding this how Indian Standard 1893 will be useful for our solving the examples and also focusing that which are the major factors that need to be considered. So we are learning seismic coefficient method. So now in this method, first design base shear is calculated for the whole building and it is distributed along the height of the building as explained below. Now step by step we will be having a look that what are the major factors we need to consider. So we will be basically finding out the base shear, what it is, that will be explained in the end and also in the examples. So determination of base shear. Now total design lateral force or design seismic base shear VB along any principal direction shall be determined by the following expression. Means the lateral force or say base shear of the building in a particular direction of the earthquake. Let us say if it is going in a horizontal x direction, then that direction should be considered, and along to that direction we are finding out the lateral force on the building. So to find out that, the equation VB, now VB is a term for use for base shear, is nothing but AH into W. Now what is AH, what is W will be explained for the slides. So AH is nothing but design horizontal acceleration spectrum value, what it is and how it should be calculated will be explained. W is seismic weight of the building, the weight of the particular building, and VB is nothing but total design lateral force at the base of the structure. So whatever the horizontal force at the base of the structure, that can be calculated with the help of VB. So now where it is to be found out, look, it is in IS 1893 part 1 2016, it is common. So 1893 part 1 2016, clause number 7.6.1 at page number 21. So here it is page number 21, clause number 7.6, in that 7.6.1 VB equals to AH into W. So for the solving of example, we will be using this IS code and it will be very useful for the solving the sum. So here it is the VB. From here you get the equation. So now let's move to the AH and W. So first of all we are taking W, seismic wave. Now what is seismic wave? Look, the seismic weight of the building is the sum of seismic weight of all the floors. The seismic weight of any floor level is equal to the dead weight of the floor system plus appropriate amount of imposed load. So seismic weight W is composed of weight of dead load and weight of live load. So how you can find out dead load? So dead load can be found out with the help of dead weight of slab. Obviously the slab will come, plus weight of beam, plus half weight of the column above and below the floor. So here it is an slab level, the half length of the column above and below. So this is the system to find out the weight. Half only considered of the top and half of the considered will be of bottom of column, plus half weight of the wall above and below the floor. Similarly, if this is the floor, top half and the bottom half need to be considered. The remaining half of the bottom one will be considered on the bottom floor. If this was my floor, and the top half will be considered on the top floor. So this is the system to find out the dead weight. So this is nothing but a dead load. How we can find out? It is also given in page number 21, clause 7.4. You can find out from there. The similar formula has been written, so I have not shown over here. Now imposed load. So the live load. So for the given building, we have to consider before designing the live load how much amount of live load will be coming. So for that, in the example, it will be given that this much amount of live load will be there, and for calculating a live load there are various codes also. But right now in our examples it will be given. Now look, live load will be given. Let us say if live load is 4. What is live load is 4? So that will be per 4 km per meter square. So for the entire floor, we can't take the 4 Newton per kilometer per meter square, and then if the area is the say the square foot is 2500 square foot of the floor. So each and everywhere there will be no chances of load. So there is no load, no live load will be there at the each and every point. There will be live load. So for that, we will be considering some percentage of that live load. Let me explain once again. that for the particular floor we have considered live load as 3, and that 3 kilonewton is per meter square. If our building is for 2500 square foot and then convert into the meter square, and then the load will be coming, that is 3 which we have considered, and multiplication with the area, then the people are not there at the particular place. Is what I'm saying, that each and every per meter square there will be no chances of the people are standing. No doubt we are designing as considering the entire one, but at that place there is no chances of people. People are during the earthquake there are chances that people will move out of the, say, out of the building, or say out of that particular place. People will try. So the live load will be reducing in the sense the maximum amount we need not to be considered, we will be considering some less amount. So how much it is? So for that there is a factor given. Look, up to including 3 kN per meter square. If a building is designed for 3 kN per meter square, then we will be considering only percentage of 25%. And if it is more than 3 kN per meter square, then we will be considering 50% of the live load present on that particular floor. So this is a factor. It will be given in 1893 2016 page number 10, and page number 20, table number 10. It is over here, clause 7.3.1. So in this it has been given that table 10 percentage of imposed load. So here you can find out this table, and here it is clearly mentioned that for up to, or say including 3 kilonewton, it is 25% need to be considered, and for above 3 you need to consider 50%. So here clause is also written 7.3.1. So from page number 20, how much percentage of live load need to be considered, that we can find out this table. So we are completed with the weight. So in weight we will be considering dead load as well as live load. Now also AH, because the formula for VB is nothing but AH into W. So weight is done. Now AH. So what is AH? So formula for AH is this, but before, design horizontal seismic coefficient. So AH is nothing but my seismic coefficient. So AH equals to Z by 2 into I by R into SA by G. And the code, it is written by Z by 2 multiplied by SA by G divided by R by I. So this is the simplest form to remember, so that's why I have converted it to this. If you want to use this, then you can also use it. This is nothing but a modified form. So these are the terms which we will be using. So it is given in the page number 9, clause 6.4.2. So here it is page number 9, clause 6.4.2. Here it is given AH. So you can find out over there. Now what are this particular term? We'll be understanding in further slides. Now for any structure with T is nothing but my natural time period is less than 0.1 second. The value of AH will not be taken less than Z by 2, whatever be the value of I upon R. So if the natural time period is less than 0.1 second, then need to be considered the value of not less than Z by 2. We'll be understanding in the examples, but this is just a note. Now what is Z, I, R, SA by G? So Z is nothing but my zone factor, in which particular zone our building is situated. As I have explained the very first session of earthquake, that the zones are like zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 and zone 5. Zone 2 is very moderate zone, or say very low zone where earthquake activity is very less, and zone 5 is very highly seismic zone where multiple earthquake activities occur. So Z is my zone factor. Specifically, Ahmedabad is in zone 3 and Bhuj is in zone 5. I will be explaining how and from where it has been came. I is nothing but importance factor. Our building is how much important. Let us say it is a school building or it is a hospital building, then it is more important than a residential small house or bungalow or say building. R is response reduction factor, we'll be understanding that, and SA by G is nothing but average response acceleration coefficient. This basically depends on type of soil and how the wave will occur in that particular type of soil and the nature period of the building. It will depend on that. Let us see one by one. Now here is the zone factor. So Z, as I explained, that value of zone factor is given in this table. Now it is maximum considered earthquake. So here the zone the factors are maximum considered earthquake. But in the very first session of design philosophy, we have learned that we will not make an earthquake proof building, we will be making earthquake resistant building. So we are taking Z by 2 because as we have already learned over that DBE is nothing but half of MCE. And what is MCE? MC is nothing but maximum considered earthquake and DB is nothing but design basic earthquake. So we will be considering Z by 2. It is given in 1893 page, 1893 2016, table number 3, clause 6.4.2, page 10. So here is page 10. Here is table number 3, clause 6.4.2 as a reference, IS code, and here are the zones. Look, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5. Zone 1 was there earlier, but it has been neglected that we are not keeping any of the areas in zone 1. The minimum area which we are keeping as zone 2 and the maximum is zone 5. So this is the factor Z. If our building is in Ahmedabad and it is in zone 3 and it is given as a factor as Z equals to 0.16. So we will be considering 0.16 Z value for the Ahmedabad. What about the other building? So list of some towns and their seismic zone factor is given in annexure E. So look, next is annexure E. Here you can see that Agra, Ahmedabad, Ajmer, Allahabad, Almira, etc. are given over here, and page number 36, and also in the page number 37 the list of various towns and cities are given. So you look, you can see Agra is zone 3, this Allahabad is in zone 2. If it is B for Bhuj, look here, Bhuj is given in zone 5. By this we can rectify in which zone our building is, or say which zone is the structure is located. Also, if our building is located in a remote area which is not listed in this particular values, so this is list of some town with population more than 3 lakh. So this is the only list where population is more. Obviously the major construction will occur over there only, so major cities or towns has been only considered. If a building is situated in another from this given specified area, so look, from where we can take a help. Look here, the entire India has been differentiated in a particular zone. Orange one is zone 5. Look here. Green one is in zone 4. Somewhat portion of Gujarat and majorly portion of Jammu and this region. Some of the portion of Maharashtra also. Zone 3, this yellow one. So, and this one. And zone 2 is for blue color. So given away. So now you have to locate your city or building where it is located on the map, and then you can find out the particular zone where it is, and the zone values are given over here. So I hope you got to know that from where the value of Z will be coming. Next is importance factor. So as I have explained that importance of the building, so how much important the building is, for that the importance factor has been given. So importance factor depends on the functional use of the structure characterized by hazardous consequences of the failure, post-earthquake functional needs, and historical value. Obviously, if the building is major important, then it has some value in the future enough. So we have to keep in mind that it is an important building. So higher factor will need to be considered. The value of importance factor I are given in this table. So you can find out in page number 19, clause number 7.2.3, table number 8. You can see. So this is our code. So this is the page where importance factor is given. So I have expanded over here that look, importance is serviceability and community building, or say structures like as critical government buildings, schools, signature building, monuments, for example hospital building, telephonic exchange. So these are the list of building. If a building considering is coming in this consideration, then we have to take I value as 1.5. If it is a residential or commercial building, let's say if of a 200 number of population, look here it is clearly mentioned. Now this is a new term, that residential or commercial building other than the listed in one number, and this is one number point. If it is other than this, then with the occupancy more than 200%, if the building is having occupancy of 200%, that has to be considered as 1.2. If the occupancy is less than 200%, let us say it is 150, it is used for 100 number of people, then we need to consider as a one value because it is a lesser important. So these are the nodes you need to be learn. So Z, I. Now let us move to the response reduction factor R. Now R is nothing but depends on the type of structure. So now it depends on the perceived seismic damage performance of the structure characterized by ductile or brittle deformation. So how the type of building? Let us say it is a steel building, it is an RC building. So for them there are different types of R value, say reduction factor value. Now I by R shall not be greater than 1. Now we have used this term I by R in the equation of AF, so it should not be greater than 1. Now the value of R is given in IS code page number 20, clause number 7.2.6 and table number 9. Here you can look. So these are the list. So here basically there is a frame system, there is a braced system and structural wall like a shear wall and all, and then dual system, then flat slab. So these are the different lists in which I am explaining that moment frame system. So we are mostly dealing with moment resisting frame in which RC building, and in that RC building and steel building, and also that are categorized by ordinary moment resisting frame OMRF and SMRF. OMRF means ordinary moment resisting frame and SMRF is nothing but special moment resisting frame. So what is this OMRF and SMRF? So ordinary moment resisting frame is nothing but not meeting the ductile requirements, and SMRF is the special building in which ductile detailing is done in a proper way using IS this 1390 and SP6 is a code. So these are the two difference in SMRF and OMRF. So both in RC building and in steel building. So this can be given over here, and also the notes are given at the bottom, so you have to go through it in detail. Next is average response acceleration coefficient, which is SA by G. So now basically SA by G depends on two factors, which is type of soil as well as natural period. Now what is it? It is a factor which represents the acceleration response of the structure under earthquake ground vibration. So previously I have explained that this SA by G is basically dependent on type of soil and how the ground acceleration occurs. So basically on that our SA by G factor depends. Also it depends on TA, which is natural time period. How it will be calculated, it will be explained in the next slide. Now it depends on natural period, as I said, damping of the structure. Now damping of the structure we need to be considered as a given value in the example only. We will be having a look how various type of damping coefficient need to be considered. Right now here how we can find out SA by G. Look, for different rocks or different types of soil, SA by G is given in figure 2a. Here it is figure 2a. Now basically why we are using 2a figure? Because it is for equivalent static method. Our examples based on equivalent static method. 2b for response spectrum method, and we are having only theory of response spectrum method, which will be covering up in upcoming session. So right now we focus on this figure. So now basically type of soil. So we have to know that on which type of soil our building is standing. So it may be say rock soil, or say medium soil, or say soft soil. Now it's also has been elaborated in this table, say table number 4. From here also you can find out. But basically we can get to know that which type of soil with the help of geotechnical engineer on purposefully on the site, or in the example it must be given. So basically on the type of soil and natural period, if assume that is our natural period is 2 and our type of soil is medium, so for 2 it is coming over here and our natural period is, let's say, 0.75. So at value of SA by G we will be considering value as 0.75. So with the help of graph we will be getting to know the value of SA by G. Also if we are not using the graph, there are various equations also given. So on the page number 9 the equation is given regarding this. You can look here, for the rock and hard soil is for medium soil, and this is for soft soil. If our nature period comes between 0 to 0.40 second, then our value will be 2.5 for rock soil. How it has to be used, I will be explaining in example. So if we are not using this graph, then we can use the equation which is given on page number 9. And this B point is for response factor, and this A1 is for equivalent static method. So as I said, our examples will be based on equivalent static method. So we will be using this one. Now, what we have looked till date. Now we have used the base shear VP equals to AH into W. We have checked what is W, weight. For AH, we have checked Z by 2, I by R, and SA by G. So first we have checked out zone for Z. I by R, I is for importance factor, R is response reduction factor. It will be depends on type of frame. And lastly we saw the SA by G. So we have seen all the terms, but SA by G basically depend on nature period. So this is the fundamental nature period, and how it has to be find out. Look, it is given in page number 21. So for finding out various nature period, there are 3 different formulas. This is for bare moment resisting frame. MRF is nothing but moment resisting frame, in which without infill wall. If there is no infill wall, it is a bare frame. Then we have to use this type of value for T. This is the 0.075 H raised to 0.75. So for RC MRF, RC steel, and for steel MRF building. So different formula is given. For building with RC structural walls, if it is an reinforced structural walls, let's say shear wall, the building is made up of shear wall, then we have to use this formula. But for our example, for all other building, we have to use this formula. So we will be using this formula, because for simple infill wall, we will be using this TA equals to 0.09 H divided by root D. So what is H? H is nothing but height of building in meter, and D is nothing but base dimension of the building. So look, which base dimension? If a building is 30 meter cross 20 meter, so which dimension is to be considered? It is written that along the consideration direction of the lateral force. So if it is in 30 meter, if it is in 20 meter, and on the side of 30 meter the earthquake is coming, then you have to consider D as a 30 meter. If this is 20 meter and earthquake is coming from this direction, then look, it is a 20 meter and earthquake coming in this direction, then we have to consider D as a 20 meter. So along the direction of the earthquake, we need to consider the value of D. And at last, after finding out for the particular floor, the base shear, we need to distribute in the particular flow level along the height. So distribution of base shear. So the base shear we calculated above, is in the previous slide, is to be distributed along the height of the building. So we will be finding out the shear force and value of lateral forces in the particular floor level. How we will be explaining in the examples. But for that, the equation is given on page number 21 to 23. Why it is written from 21 to 23? Because on 21 page number, the clause is given 7.6.3, on where design base shear equation is given, but the actual equation is given over here on page number 23. So for example, you can write this 21 only. So here is the equation which we will be using: Wi Hi. So W is nothing but weight, H is height, and summation of Wj into Ha, the entire building weight and height, multiplying with the base shear which we have found out. So how to use, I will be explaining. So what is this written, that earthquake studies of the building indicate that top portion of the building suffer more damage. Obviously, if the earthquake comes, so the top portion is the more likely to be sway more as compared to the bottom one. So top portion will be suffer more as compared to the bottom ones. Thus, the top story should be subjected to the large forces. So this is the equation. So this was the list of components, or say factors, which we need to be used for the examples. So look, this is the kind of shear diagram of the building. This is the building. This is each story. We will be finding out how much the force is acting on the particular story, and the lateral load diagram. So this is just a representation, not to be noted. So now at last, steps to solve the sum. Tentative, it may vary at some point, but basically these are my steps. First of all, we will be finding out weight W as we have learned. Then we will be finding out natural period Ta. On the basis of that only, we will be finding out SA by G, and SA by G is the will be useful for the finding out this AH, and AH will be useful to finding out VB. So then fundamental natural period Ta. With the help of that, in between these two, we will be finding out each factors from the code, and then the base shear VB. So this VB has to be distributed along the vertical height, and at last we need to draw diagrams. These are the basic steps which we will be following in the examples.